panel has been set up and the state governor has also invited the DSS in. Meanwhile, protest of his death is going on in many parts of the country, from Kogi to Ekiti to Oyo to Lagos. We're getting reports of people marching out on the streets and demand justice for Mohbad. All right, now that we have that, I will be giving you update. Let's come to something that it's interesting. At this point, I mean, lots of people already know some sort of subsidy going on. The government has come out to give us a figure of what they've had to subsidize in the month of August. That despite the numerous assurances by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, subsidy is gone. Finding shows that the federal government paid 169.4 billion naira in subsidy last month, August, keep the pump price at 620 naira per litre. And there's been several reports suggesting that the current price stagnation, despite the worsening exchange rate and international crude price crossing $95 a barrel, suggests the return of subsidy. Now, a document by the Federal Account Allocation Committee, FAC, cited by the reporter from the Daily Trust yesterday, showed that in August 2023, the Nigerian liquefied natural gas, NLNG, paid $275 million as dividends to Nigeria via NNPC Limited. NNPC Limited used $220 million, that's about 169.4 billion at 770 naira per dollar out of the $275 million to pay for petrol subsidy. Then NNPC held back $55 million, well, apparently illegally. The revelation by FAC effectively indicates that subsidy is very much in place and NNPC is now taking NLNG dividends to pay subsidy. So I think there's no need grandstanding anymore about this subsidy matter. I think, Mr. Chooks, we need to put this subsidy thing to a rest and just accept that the government will always have to pay subsidy. We're not refining. Our Naira is not stable. It will continue to fluctuate. A barrel is $98 in the market. There is no way you leave Nigerians at the mercy of all of these forces. So subsidy will always be with us. Seem like it, sir?
Okay.
Or do you think otherwise?
Subsidy will always be with us. I think the period for grandstanding is over. It's noble for leaders, public office holders, to admit when they go wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. We're all humans. No one is infallible. These are policies. We've tried this. It didn't work. Therefore, we are backtracking. Admit that, yeah, we thought it would have worked, but the impact is very negative. It is very hard. It is very harsh. Nigerians are just pining the way. They're dying by the day. And look at our currency. That's another policy that they got wrong. Floating the Naira. I said this afternoon it has got into 995 Naira to $1. Maybe by the time the sun sets to hit 1,000 Naira. Unbelievable. But that is where we are as a nation. Now, in the international market, crude is creeping towards $100 a barrel. We should be very happy that it's getting to that distance. But the thing is that our refineries are not working. So you export your crude and import finished product, and it's sold at international price. Therefore, there are gaps, and the gaps keep widening every other day. So the government has to come in. There's no gainsaying the fact that if they fail to come in, it will get to a point the system will run to a halt. We're almost there. You know, I was in one forum 2 days ago, and I did tell them that, look, this administration must do everything humanly possible to make sure that the NLC does not shut down the system. Meet them, tell them the truth. This is where we are. That's part of the problem with this system. Tell them the truth. Tell Nigerians the truth. We are in this ship together. Fortunately, otherwise, I am the captain of the ship. This is where we are. There is danger. So that people can tighten up, and let's lead by example. Nigerians are not bad people. We know that when things are that very rough for us, that we need to tighten our belt, but we should know the truth. That's what some of us are saying. Lay it bare there. This is how it is. And those who have gone wrong, who have put their hands in the till to pilfer our commonwealth, and they are known, can they be arrested and prosecuted? Can we get these monies back into the system? These are the issues. And when policies are being brought out, let the best hands, the best minds be the fellows who will superintend it, and so that it can work. It is no longer trial and error. And it is no longer the era of sloganeering is over. You are not impressing anybody. We are not campaigning now. This is pure administration. So you need to tell people the truth. This is where we are on this matter. We can't go beyond this. So I'm not faced by the fact that they are through the back door, they are doing subsidizing this thing. We know.
But you know, sir, there are people who are arguing and saying that if the government did not come in at that point to say, hey, people, you have to pay up, remove this subsidy, it would have been too much of a burden. One of them is Mustafa Chikiobi, former Chief Executive Officer of Asset Management, says the finances of the federal government would have been unbearable if it had remained at that point. So in spite of the fact that they're subsidizing, if the government had to take the entire responsibility on themselves,
to some extent, I agree with that argument. But I go back to my former deposition that those who put this country in this mess, what has happened to them? In the last 8 years, we are not told that they are getting monies, the houses are being seized, this one is coming in, the other one is coming. How much did it come up to? What did they use it for? Didn't we sell crude in the past 8 years? Didn't we run governance in the past 8 years? What happened? There are missing gaps. So when we prepare the cracks and say that, well, it's our party, we continue the way we are, we will make no progress. That's just the truth of the matter. And we should begin to review the policies, the government policies. Which ones can generate jobs? How do we get the people, the youth, back to give them jobs? Because when every other person is loitering the street, manna will not fall from heaven. So we need to do an introspection, look at the policies again, the ones that are working, the ones that are not working. Why these things are being done? Security should be number one. Because all these things we are talking about, if we are not secured, or the land is not secured, nobody gets back. Yeah. Even the Mr. President have been doing some diplomatic shuttling, which is very nice for the country. But the thing is that you are talking to people who are equally double-checking you. Are we safe? Can we bring our business here? Will it work? How safe are we when we deposit our money? Can it come back? What is due us? Will this system pay us back? These are some of the things. Once these things are ironed out, it's going to be tough the next months coming ahead of us. But the thing is that it is not insurmountable, but there must be a leadership that has vision. That, look, tighten your belt because I have already tightened mine. But don't tell me to tighten my belt when you are loosening yours at every point.
Indeed. So the tightening of the belt is loosening theirs indeed. Is one that I wonder how the government is going to prove it to people beyond cutting down what is visibly excessive on the part of Nigeria, to saying what else can the government do on its own part to really sell that impression that they are also cutting down costs.
What do you do? It's by what we see, what they put out. It's all about optics. The optics is not too fine. When you go and appoint 48 ministers, instead of, some of us had thought that he would have trimmed the cabinet to 24. Down. Or pick up the Roundtable report and merge ministries and all these agencies and just make it workable. Okay? Rather, we are making it bloated. You know what it takes to finance one minister? The Minister of State. Even those who, in the twilight days of the last administration, protested being Minister of State.
Yeah.
Nobody took those things into, they felt that it was just, he made that comment because he felt hot. But the thing is that the man was right. If you look at your constitution, there's nothing like Minister of State there. Meaning that the maximum you can have will be 36.
Given that it's a constitutional requirement.
Sure. But now we're talking about we are heading to 50. So these are all ministers of the Federal Republic. And it's eating deep into the little we have. So we just have to find a way to make See, when I read some comments, people saying that we worked and we've delivered him, he's now the president, or he did what this one, he's not the governor, nobody has appointed me into everybody must not get appointment. Okay? Some of the jobs you do is because you are convinced about it, I want a better Nigeria. Therefore, I say, I'm going to support this person or I'm going to support the other person for a better Nigeria. If it doesn't affect me, my kids are going to enjoy from it once the system runs well. But now the lobbying is that I want to be a minister, I want to be minister of state. Okay, if I don't get that, you have to put me in one agency or the other. All of us must not be in government.
At the same time.
At the same time, if the system is working, any other thing you are doing, you will make profit from it so that things begin to work.
Well, a lot of people thrive on the patronage system. You must know someone. And that's why we still have cases of nepotism, and you must bring somebody from our region and all of that because of the fringe benefits that comes with it. Everybody wants to, and everybody wants to see how they can connect with whoever is there to get benefit. Everyone is generalizing, though, but it feels like almost a cultural thing for us in Nigeria. And that's why we see people falling over themselves for all of this. Now, you did mention the Naira, 980 Naira to $1.
That was in the morning.
In the morning, and like you said, it might change.
The Naira is like a yo-yo now. You can't put anything. That's why I talk about policies that don't work. There's no reason why you can introduce a policy. After a while, you do a review. If it's not working, well, we'll put floating this Naira. They have seen that it's not working. And the Naira has become just one of those Zimbabwe currency that you need a wheelbarrow to fill it up with currency for you to buy one thing or the other. We can't continue this way. The Naira, as at this afternoon, it was exchanging at 1,250 or 251 to 1 British pound. It's as bad as that. Then the dollar is inching out to 1,000 Naira to $1 US. How do you explain that? How?
Let's see what policies can be introduced to stabilize this also, because it's really troubling, particularly for people who have to do business, travel allowances, personal allowances, school fees that actually need this. They're even talking about we still have that scarcity. The reason why some like airlines like Emirati and the likes of them had issues why they even had to stop coming to Nigeria was because of Forex, not having access to it. A lot of this foreign airline just could not comprehend why they're doing business with us and can't get what they will repatriate back home. We're still having that shortage, and it feels at this point, as much as you want to come up with short-term measures, we need to think long-term on how to address this.
Long-term is that for 3 years or 4 years, the last administration told us they were doing turnaround maintenance for our refineries. We are still on it. Mr. President should set up an ad hoc committee to make sure that these refineries begin to work as quickly as possible. Well, thankfully, they said that by December, the Port Harcourt refinery will be
up and
running.
We're hoping that Dangote in November, hopefully, also.
We are praying that Dangote's own will come on stream. If you do that and do worry, and maybe Kaduna, you can now say that, okay, we get this crude here, we refine it here, prices will come down. You know that everything that happens in this country revolve around crude energy crisis. Once there is energy crisis in this country, it affects every other thing. Most offices are downsizing. They can't pay. They can't run their gens. They can't do any job. That is where they are. So, go to the market. You're a lady. You go to the market. You see the way.
I am surprised by the change in price every weekend. It feels like every weekend you go, there's a 10 Naira, 20 Naira, 100 Naira, 200 Naira.
It keeps happening across board. And that is the lot of the average Nigerian. Every Nigerian, you go to the villages, it's the same problem. The health facilities, the doctors, they are all leaving. Some are even leaving for neighboring West African countries. It's as bad as that. Let me just go. Let me just leave this country. But that is not the solution to the matter, because the leadership of this country at every level, even at the subnationals, they just have to find a way around this thing. It may be difficult now, but when the people see that, look, our leaders, they know what they are doing, that they're going to lead us right, and that we know that in the next 1 or 2 years, we'll get out of this. Fine. I read in a few hours ago somewhere that the Ghanaian authorities in Ghana, that they want to supply us electricity. And I had a good laugh. Ghana, no electricity. That is where we are. Check how much that has been committed to generation of power in this country and where we are. 210 million people estimated, and we are still talking about 4,000, 5,000 megawatts. I've heard that for the past 20 years. It has never exceeded 5,000 megawatts. Remember, in the last 1 week, the national grid collapsed twice.
Twice, yeah. I mean, twice, about 3 times or thereabouts.
we've not seen the last. So these are the issues that they just have to fix, find a way around it, and let these things work in. Because when you're talking about bringing industries working and all those things,
It's one of the countries that pop up. And if there is talks about exporting electricity to Nigeria, boy, oh boy, it's interesting. Ghana is actively strategizing and implementing policies and initiatives to advance its power sector to achieve 100% universal energy access and potentially export electricity to its big brother, Nigeria.
Did you hear that?
The head of Generation and Transmission Unit at the Ministry of Energy in Ghana conveyed this during the presentation in Lagos at its second day of the Nigerian Energy Leadership Summit. Highlighted that Ghana has already achieved a remarkable 80 to 85% universal energy access within its border through robust policy formulation and implementation. And apparently they're enjoying so much that they're contemplating who needs energy. Nigeria, your hands are up. Good.
So you think...
We're exporting to you. This is, I don't know, it feels like ouch moment for us as a Nigerian.
You're amazed.
I know we do have these issues, but then you wouldn't expect small Ghana to be supplying to us.
That is the story of Nigeria. President Buhari, after so much pressure, had to ask his Minister of Power he sacked him. People didn't ask why. Okay? We keep appointing people into offices without checking their background. So when you appoint a guy who has no background to what you want him to do, he stays in that office. He whiles away his time in that office until the day you ask him to go. And Buhari was very generous. So some fellows were lucky. They stayed for 7.5 years, and did almost nothing. Just like the man who was in FCT. Okay? He just cocooned himself in his office. Any file that comes to him, he takes his red biro and writes KIV and kept it there. You see the way Wike is suffering to clear the mess he created. Yeah. These are the things we are talking about. Get the right persons to do the job so that the system will work. When the system works, every other person will be relaxed. Can you imagine that we are still trotting? We're not running. We are still trotting on 4,000 megawatts for 20 whole years. So there's no progress.
But this is something to look at if Ghana is mulling the idea of exporting to us. And I know that we have challenge with the entire value chain of it, from the generation, transmission to distribution, which is a big problem for us. We have been known to export to neighboring countries, Benin, Niger Republic, and the likes. Ghana, if you're exporting, maybe they think we need it. But do we even have capacity to distribute whatever is coming in? Because we seem to be generating in excess of what we're capable of distributing. Our problem is a lot deeper than who's exporting to us.
I'm not an expert in that field, but all I need to say is that our leadership recruitment process is very, very faulty. So when you don't have the right persons in offices, nothing works. Why is Ghana working? Ghana is working because one J.J. Rawlings came in and cleared some political deadwood. And from then, the Ghanaians suffered. You recall, history has it there. In 1980, 81, 82, 83, we asked them to leave Nigeria. That jute bag, they call it Ghana must go. Those were the things they used to enter at the big trucks.
The trucks.
And they moved across the border and went back to their places. And they suffered. But they were lucky. God gave them a leader that understood, that saw tomorrow. And that orientation started. Our political class do not have orientation. There is no, I want to be this is how it is, this is my mentor, this is the person I'm looking up to. No. What we do, which has affected our youth now, is that however you get the money, however you get into that office, it doesn't matter, just get there. No country survives that way. That is where Nigeria is. Until we sit down and begin to do a holistic review of our leadership recruitment process, the country will not make any progress.
All right, if you're just tuning in, Mr. Chuksuhegwe is our guest on the roundtable today. We're looking at the fact that there's subsidy in place. The government apparently paid a significant sum in the month of August to subsidize the difference, because the price of oil in the global market is no respecter of people with very poor policies. Apparently, you can't refine. That's not the business of the international market. Market forces is brutal to a point where it just not one that is stable enough for the citizen of a country that is popularized by people who are in between job, underemployed, unemployed, or sadly in that poverty bracket. Like we have a large demographic in that bracket at the moment. We also looked at how our Naira is doing. It's tanking, like I guess it is yo-yoing so fast. Like 1 minute it's there, the next minute it tanks and it goes back up. So unpredictable. And all of this is even tied because it does have ripple effect. And you know, sir, there's one aspect we don't talk about enough. We talk about energy security. We don't talk enough about food security because a lot of things come into play where the average person, you can't even plan. Minimum wage has not been reviewed, even though there's talk, confident one, coming from the corridors of power, that it will be reviewed upwards. NLC is asking for a 200% upwards. I doubt the government can afford to do that. Let's not even pander to the propaganda. If the government
cannot talk about food security when there is insecurity. Okay? I mean, I said it. This insecurity ravaging the country, and some fellows have taken large swaths of land in this country are being controlled by bandits. Okay? And people can't go to the farms.
Farming communities.
They've been sent away. Some have been killed. You know, women raped. And if you are lucky enough to brace the earth to go and plant, you won't be able to harvest it. So what are we talking about? Look at the whole arable land in Plateau, Benue, Niger, and all these places. I can feed any country and even export. We don't have. So don't be surprised that the grains we have in our silos were imported and kept that place. These are the issues. And you see, in the southeast, it's the same problem. So it's a problem that cuts across, which means that there must be a holistic approach to it, to solving it. I mean, you don't treat it with kid gloves. A governor cannot say, this incident happened here, please leave it for me, I'm going to handle it. It is not within your rights, constitutionally speaking, to handle it. These are security matters. It must come from the executive arm of the government. You, the governor, you don't have the authority over those fellows. Therefore, the last administration played games with these things. We should tell ourselves the truth. And the thing degenerated to a level where it is almost hopeless. So with this new administration now, they just have to close your eyes. Let's get this thing done once and for all. So that while Mr. President is doing his diplomatic shuttles, talking to the international community, pleading with them, you can come to my country and do business. Back home, the security agencies are mopping up these fellows and making sure that they return this country to order. When we begin to go to farm, if Nigerians go back to farm consistently for 2 years, the prices of food will drop. There's no two ways about it. People will have what they can eat. They can, begin to do other things. But when you can't access your farm, when you don't know that the next person around you is a bandit, you are not sure that you're going to see tomorrow. When you manage to plant, you can't even harvest. And when you harvest, you can't access the market. Why these things are going on? Umahi has been running around looking at the roads and all those things. He has discovered. But we were told that thousands of kilometers of roads were done by the last administration. We can't continue to tell ourselves lies. In one program in the morning, I said it is an orchestra of deception. We are being there's a music being played to Nigerian audience, which is deceptive. And the government keeps doing it. So tell the people the truth. This is where we are on this matter. This is the much we can do. Please bear with us. We are going to make progress. And it's going to be incremental progress from point 1 to point 2, point 3 to point 3. Nigerians will go with you. But don't make it look hopeless. Don't lie to the people you are leading. The last administration made lying a state policy.
Well, if you put it that way, a lot of people did have their reservation, particularly of how information was disseminated to a lot of Nigerians, and felt that the government was being clever by half in terms of either holding back information, exaggerating, or more of propaganda. And I know, given the former Minister of Information, where a lot of people felt he was synonymous with that, it became almost one that even if they were giving Nigerians the big picture, the clear picture, and the truth, Nigerians were already skeptical to a point where it is not accepted.
But you know, perception is everything.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's the perception now that needs to be corrected, because, I mean, you could have like a former minister, Mr. Lai Mohammed, coming to say something, and Nigerians are already programmed to believe that he's not telling us the whole truth. So it's a perception problem comes into play as much as interrogating the fact of whatever they're putting out also at the end of the day. So let's look at another story. Yes, we're on YouTube at Nigeria Info ABJ, and yes, we're on Facebook also at Nigeria Info ABJ. I see Emma Victor. Change of system is the key, he says. Oga Spartacus. Let's go. All right, whatever that is. And ID Prince, comedian from Big Shedder Kwali, watching us. Thank you very much. Good to know that you're watching. You can leave your thought with us. You can also leave your thought with us on WhatsApp. Topo ICU says the death of the gentleman is painful. Such a talented artist, talking about Mobad. If they are subsidizing fuel, let them return the fuel pump price to 200 naira per litre whilst they fix our refineries. Tunde, I doubt that is going to happen. The government is also looking at how to shield some of the weight of its responsibility. This has come to stay. It's the muscle strength of the NLC to getting the government to do more. NLC is still insisting you must reverse back subsidy, but it doesn't look realistic to make that call at the moment, given the fact that our debt profile has gone up to 87 trillion. And we now know that they are intervene with some sort of subsidy going on from where they stop so that the price does not continue to spike. So to say take us back to 180 or 200 naira, it's not a call that would fall on a listening ear. It just feels like no one is going to listen to that. It's not realistic. But then if you're also demanding a 200% increase in salary, that is another extra burden on the government to say we need to pay more. Catch 22.
Yeah, it's catch 22, but they have to put it on a balance. These people are suffering. That's just the truth of the matter.
True.
Nigerians are
That's
suffering.
a fact.
If the government has accepted and considered to the fact that they are subsidizing petrol, Labour should put it to them that they should meet them midway. If you reduce the pump price from 615 it is now to maybe 450, Nigerians will be much relieved. Even though I know that in Nigeria, when prices go up,
It came back once upon a time. Jonathan's time, 10 naira. I recall they went down by 10 naira. We were so ungrateful. We say, what is 10 naira?
Now here we are. So, because everything is tied around this price stuff, they should consider that and come down a bit. I know this administration. I just want to be very factual. This administration created a very bad.
The Minister of Finance
Yes.
did admit to it.
Yeah.
Even though the president is not saying it, but his ministers are telling us in all the ways possible that we are in a pickle.
Yes. So it's very difficult for the administration, but they can come down and cut costs, especially in governance, cut costs and make sure. So glad yesterday when I heard the SGF can just address the nation and encourage us to continue. There is nothing there for anybody to go and relax. Say, well, this is our national day because we bungled our yesterday.
Price that we're paying today. I mean, Shrai will say, I no longer go to work 5 times a week. I pay more on transportation every week. That's what's saying. And then if you go to a lot of the ministry, that's what they do. I know a couple of people who don't work for 2 weeks at all. They have some sort of rotational system they operate and just do not show up because the cost of transportation is not realistic given what they get at the end of the month. So we're also looking at the price on productivity, efficiency, and whatever language we use in the civil service at this point. I'm just saying, if people are not showing up, they are not working. Is it that we're dealing with redundancy that can need a trimmed down number to get it working, or we're not productive at all because people are not showing up at work?
This is the reason why Labour is pushing the way it's pushing.
Yeah.
If your salary is 30,000 naira and you're staying maybe in Kubu or in Lugbe, you can't come to this place 5 times a week. It's not possible. Some persons stay as far as Kwali and they come to work in this place. Yeah. That means you have to spend about 5,000 naira every day. You come to work. How much is there for you to feed and to run your home? I mean, the situation is just bad. And when Labour is pushing and people are not seeing reason why they are pushing, you now know that, remember, Mr. President had to address the nation that these are the things we have programmed to do for
to cushion the
effect. Between then and now, what has happened? You don't make promises and it is not kept. Give them update. This is where we are. We've ordered for the vehicles, or this one is coming, or the other one. This is the date you have to take delivery of this. This is the way this one is going to come. I said it. They are no longer campaigning. They are now in governance. And they just have to speak to the fact, the truth, what is available. Don't raise hopes when you know that it will not be achieved.
Yeah.
That is what causes the problem. And don't do, you want to impress the people. Let's tell them what they want to hear. Okay? By next week, he's going to announce the review of new wages. Is it there? Is the money there? If next week comes and he fails to do that, what happens? It's quite a difficult situation for them, but the thing is that they just have to be very, very realistic and down to earth. Starting with the leadership. It comes down.
All right. In all of this, we still have major security concerns, and we did talk about it yesterday, or was it 2 days back, when military personnel were attacked and killed and burnt in broad daylight in the community in Imo State. Resident of Oriendo in Umeze in Ehime Mbano local government area of Imo State are currently living in fear for their lives following the alleged invasion of the community and destruction of property by security personnel suspected to be soldiers. The community invasion by the armed men came a day after some gunmen killed and set some soldiers, policemen, and men of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps ablaze in 2 patrol vehicles in the community. And there are videos showing the destruction of property in the community, even as they say that, these are perpetrated. Some are saying armed men and all of that. Others are saying it was soldiers. But it was gathered that residents of the area were currently living in fear of their lives and decried the burning of their houses. It just seemed like usually the normal response. I remember in Benue State when it happened, some soldiers were attacked. You know, the back military present
in Zakibiam.
Zakibiam, I recall.
It happened in OD2.
Yeah.
Bayelsa.
So you don't take down the soldiers or security personnel and think you're going to breathe easy.
They don't take it lightly at all. Nobody should encourage that. I mean, that act that day is, to say the least, unacceptable, is barbaric, is condemnable, and these are patriots, these are Nigerian soldiers, these are security men, these are fellows who have signed up to, if the need comes, to die for the country. Therefore, they can't pay this kind of price. You see, this is my worry. The administration, the government, should not treat things like this with kid gloves. Wherever it happens, whether it is in Imo State, whether in Niger State, in Zamfara, wherever, anywhere within the entity called Nigeria, we have to follow it and to the root and deal with it drastically. Okay? Yes, there is agitation in the southeast. There's cases of marginalization and stuff like that. But that will not warrant the taking the lives of security officers. Not at all. And this matter in the southeast, that young man who resides in Finland, one Simon Epa, this is my grounds with the government at the center. We have a Minister of Foreign Affairs. Will he tell me that he's not aware of what is going on?
Because the guy
what that guy has been doing? Can't he summon the ambassador of Finland and ask him questions and demand that this guy be extradited? How will he be sitting well and feeding well in great environment and he's there posting things and telling people to go to war and put their lives on and causing problem in this country? Let's sort out these things. The state governor cannot do that. It's not within, he doesn't have such powers. Okay? While we are doing all these things, this administration should explore ways to make sure that there is peace everywhere, especially in the southeast. If the Court of Competent Jurisdiction has sat and heard the case of Nnamdi Kanu and say, release him, and you are not challenging it in any higher court, obey the court order and watch him. Or call leading lights in that zone and say, I am releasing this man to you.
A lot of people from the Anambra State governor to statesmen have demanded that.
I will hold you responsible if he goes wayward. Take him and watch what is going to happen. So that they can, because if any zone in this country is destabilized or is not at peace, it will, whether you like it or not, it will affect everything that is going on. Not to talk of Southeast, that appears to be the hub where almost all the businesses we do in this country generate from. So these are the issues that we just have to treat things dispassionately. No tribe, no religion. I am the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Don't refer any zone as a dot in the circle. It was one of the errors
the last administration.
The last administration made. They shouldn't do that. Carry everybody along, because the oath of office that was administered to you is for you to take care of every inch of every soil that is called Nigeria. That's a responsibility, a huge one. And it can easily be done if the leadership is altruistic enough to carry everybody along.
It really worrisome, the degree that things have taken in the southeast, and with focus on Imo State, really. It's gone sideways.
And don't forget that there's an election coming up in Imo State in November. So if people are living there, who is going to come to vote?
I mean,
even the INEC officials that are going to go to Imo State, how safe are they?
I mean, it was the same Imo State, sir, that INEC officials were killed during
the last
registration, ahead of the
These are the things we are talking about. So this is the time. They're even running late. This is the time to that orientation and bridging the gap and getting every hands on deck. This is the time, so that by that November, by the time we are approaching November, they would have cemented everything, and people will go and cast their vote, their ballot, so that the ballot can count, and they have a leadership. Whether the man there continues or a new man comes in, whoever the people decide, so be it.
All right, let's open up the phone lines. Let's get a few of your thoughts on the stories that we're looking at the moment. Still have one more to look at, but call us up on 0700 951 0000, or you can call 0809 5974 869. Our WhatsApp number is also there for you to call, which is 0809 99 30137. Hello? Your connection is poor, so you have to call us back. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon, Kimberly.
Good afternoon.
It's Kingsley.
Go ahead, Kingsley.
Hello?
Kingsley, go ahead.
Yeah, it's condemnable to attack security agents, more especially the soldiers. I'm not advising it.
Oh, dear. Hello? Kingsley, you can call back. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Florence.
Florence, welcome.
These people are discussing about the insecurity in the East. I think the comedy people are comment.
Go ahead.
Hello?
We're listening. What's it?
Yeah. And what my brother just said is the truth, because the governor in those states, they are watching. And even the elder in that state, they are watching, see what is happening. Insecurity taking over in the southeast, and people cannot go out or eat or to do anything. And if we do not tackle this particular insecurity, what will be our next problem to face? Because when I'm saying so, if you see what is happening in the East, it gives you fear. Fear is like when you're about to travel home, you cannot go home. The thing is giving me concern. I feel like, is it my people? Why are they saying like this? This is happening. I just want the governor to have meetings together. Let us deal with that issue of insecurity. That is my own contribution.
Thank you very much, Florence. I can understand how you be concerned. I mean, sometimes the news pops up and I'm from Imo State, and I'm like, I cannot recognize this state anymore. The level of insecurity we're dealing with, and you have relatives who are telling you, oh, it's not safe here, it's not safe there. People don't travel down as frequently as they used to before. Christmas is a lot more drier than it used to be before, because these people have strongholds. Both the agitation, the separatist group, and those who are there for political reasons also. And it feels like something drastic needs to be done ahead of the 11th November elections, or else we might just get to see more of this go on.
Kim, even before then, if you're unfortunate and you are bereaved, you are taking the body home.
Yeah.
If you manage to brave all odds to get home, a group will come to you to tell you that this burial will not take place. So we're in charge of this place. You have to pay so and so amount. Another group will come. And if you don't settle these groups, the burial won't take place. This is besides, immediately you enter Obola, for every 2 kilometers, you are stopped. You drop some money. I mean, the siege mentality in Southeast is worsening by the day. And the authorities in Abuja cannot fold its hand and say, we don't know what is going on. And I keep asking the question, is this zone still part of the entity called Nigeria? It can't continue that way, because the people have been pushed to the wall. It's so choking, it's so unfortunate that you don't really know what is playing out. Is there governance here? Are they part of the system? I was here about last year when one agency recruited people and they refused to go to Southeast. What was the reason? Insecurity, that they won't go, nobody will go. So you can know, this is the one you know.
Yeah.
There are many others you don't know, and it keeps happening that way. So this thing has to, unfortunately, most of the people who come to National Assembly, most of them don't even know why they are there. So they come and look at the buildings, some can move one or two motions. These are the reasons why you need, I talked about leadership recruitment.
Yeah.
This is how it starts. Some persons should be conscientized. This is what is going on. Can you take this position? Can you take this? So that when you get to a larger public like this, you have a position to present. Then when you don't know why you are there, you bought your way to becoming a federal lawmaker. You just go there, it's self-serving. I just remain there. When I serve out my 4 years, if they give me a ticket to come back, fine. If they don't, off I go. In the end, you look back. What did I achieve? You didn't achieve anything because you didn't have a project. You didn't have a postulation that this is why I am doing this. This is how I'm going, and these are the set goals. If I have 4 set goals and I achieve 3, I've done well. But most of them don't have any set goal. Their own is just call me honorable or call me senator of the Federal Republic.
Well, let's hear another thought. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Please call back. Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Auntie Kim, Nakwana.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Musa.
Welcome, Musa.
Yeah, thank you. My regards to the analyst. Can we move on? Some of these analysts, when you go to AIT to listen to them, everything, the last administration. Can we move on? Buhari can move on. It's in Daura. Somebody is in charge. Can we criticize? I mean, objectively, so that because we want a solution. Like last administration, in fact, I remind him that the next building to where he's taken down, UN, was bombed. It wasn't during Buhari. Telling that police headquarters, the police who are securing us in Nigeria, it was bombed. It was not during Buhari. I can tell you that the insecurity prior to 2016, you should just take a drive to Borno State. They will realize that the South, the Northeast, they will not listen to what some people will come and say. You see, every administration come and face their different challenges. When Jonathan was facing the insecurity, Buhari came, that one was able to contest to some extent. And another one now made this ugly. And it's not as if it's intentional. But this issue of always trying to bring, can we move
All right.
everything?
But Musa,
it makes us feel, it doesn't make us to say that there are light at the end of the tunnel. So that's what I'm just saying.
Thank you very much. But here's the interesting thing. Even with the last administration, they reminded us for 4 years of what the previous administration didn't do right and called for patience. So government is a continuum. And it's almost difficult to separate the policies, the governance style of one government fused into another at this point in time. Mr. Chooks, do you want to say something at this point?
I don't want to join issues with him. You see, these are the same persons who are complaining that things are not working. When they moved the fuel price, the pump price to 615 or thereabout, these are the complainants. But you have to ask, why are we where we are? Why is it that things are not working? Jonathan had his problems. Yar'Adua had his problem. Obasanjo had his problem.
Okay. Let's go on a quick break. We'll take it up after the break. Stay with us.
Hello, My name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk.
This is Nigeria